Imagine returning to a city you once ruled, a city that remembers you as both a king and a monster. Tommy Shelby thought he had escaped his past. But when his own son begins destroying everything he built, the most dangerous gangster in Birmingham must return for one final war. And this time, the enemy isn't just outside, it's his own blood. This is Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man, the explosive continuation of the legendary crime saga created by Stephen Knight. Set years after the series finale, the film throws us into a darker world. World War II is raging, Europe is burning, and Tommy Shelby, the man who once controlled Birmingham, has vanished. But peace was never meant for men like Tommy. Because while he tried to disappear, his legacy didn't, and now it's coming back to destroy him. After leaving the Peaky Blinders behind, Tommy Shelby lives alone in isolation. No empire, no gang, no family, just a remote home and one loyal companion, Johnny Dogs. Tommy spends his days writing a book, a confession of sorts. He's trying to understand the chaos he created. But there's one problem. Tommy Shelby may have left Birmingham, but the ghosts followed him. Every step he takes is haunted by the people who died because of him. Friends, family, enemies. And the guilt is eating him alive. But just when Tommy believes his story is finally over, a visitor arrives, and everything changes. A mysterious woman named Kawalu appears at his compound. She's not just anyone, she's the twin sister of Duke's mother and a powerful gypsy seer. Kawalu tells Tommy something terrifying. His son, Duke Shelby, has taken control of the Peaky Blinders. But Duke isn't like Tommy. He's more violent, more reckless, and far more dangerous. And if Tommy doesn't return, his own son might destroy everything. Because Duke has already made a deal with a powerful Nazi agent named Beckett. And this isn't just another criminal job. It's part of a secret Nazi operation known as Operation Bernhard. The plan? Flood Britain with perfect counterfeit money. If successful, it would collapse the British economy and possibly change the outcome of the war. But here's the worst part. Duke is helping them. Years of abandonment turned him into something ruthless. He grew up believing his father chose power over family. So now Duke is proving he can build a kingdom without him. And in the process, he might burn the entire country down. Kawalu offers Tommy a choice. Return to Birmingham, save Duke, and maybe finally find peace. Or stay hidden and watch his son become the monster he created. Tommy doesn't hesitate. The king is going home. When Tommy Shelby returns to Small Heath, the reactions are shocking. Some people don't even recognize him anymore. To them, they're just another stranger walking into a bar. But others see something else, a legend. When Tommy rides into the streets on horseback, people stare like they're seeing a ghost. Because whether they love him or fear him, Tommy Shelby is still their gangster. Meanwhile, Duke has fully embraced his new role. He runs the Peaky Blinders with brutal efficiency. Where Tommy once used strategy, Duke uses fear. And his alliance with Beckett grows stronger. The Nazi agent sees Duke's anger and ambition, and he knows exactly how to manipulate it. Beckett convinces Duke that together they can reshape the world. But things are about to get worse because Tommy Shelby has arrived. When father and son finally meet again, it's not emotional, it's explosive. Their reunion quickly turns into a violent fight, rolling in the mud like two animals. It's ugly, it's chaotic, and strangely almost tragic, because both men realize the same truth. they are more alike than they want to admit. Tommy tries to warn Duke, working with Nazis will destroy everything, but Duke refuses to listen. To him, Tommy is just the man who abandoned him. So Duke makes a decision that changes everything. He moves forward with the operation, even if it means betraying his own father. But what Duke doesn't realize is that Tommy Shelby is still the smartest man in the room. While Duke and Beckett believe they're in control, Tommy has been secretly building a plan, and it's far bigger than anyone expects. Because Tommy isn't just trying to stop the Nazi operation, he's trying to save his son, even if it costs him everything. The final act becomes a deadly game of deception. Tommy manipulates Beckett, he manipulates the Peaky Blinders, and most importantly, he manipulates Duke. What happens next shocks everyone, because Tommy deliberately lets the operation move forward just long enough to destroy it from the inside. By the time the film reaches its final act, the entire story has been building toward one central conflict: Tommy Shelby versus the consequences of his own legacy. For years, Tommy tried to escape the violence and power that defined his life. After leaving Birmingham at the end of the series, he believed isolating himself would end the cycle. But the film reveals a brutal truth. Tommy didn't end the cycle, he simply passed it on to his son, Duke. When Tommy returns to Birmingham, he quickly realizes something terrifying. Duke isn't just running the Peaky Blinders, he's becoming a darker version of Tommy himself. Duke has partnered with the Nazi agent Beckett, helping execute a version of Operation Bernhard, a real historical plan where Nazi Germany attempted to destroy the British economy by flooding it with counterfeit banknotes. Duke believes this partnership will give him power and prove he's stronger than his father. But Tommy understands something Duke doesn't. Beckett is using him. So instead of confronting Duke directly, Tommy does what he always does best. He creates a long, complicated plan. Tommy allows Duke and Beckett to believe they are winning. He pretends to be weak, tired, and broken, the ghost of the man he once was. But behind the scenes, Tommy is quietly manipulating everyone. In the climax of the film, Beckett's operation begins to unfold. The counterfeit money scheme is ready to destabilize Britain's economy, but Tommy has already planted the seeds of its destruction. At the last moment, he turns the entire plan against Beckett. Tommy exposes the operation and disrupts the distribution network, collapsing the Nazi scheme before it can fully succeed. This moment reinforces something the Peaky Blinders story has always shown. Tommy Shelby is at his most dangerous when people think he has already lost. The most important part of the ending isn't the defeat of Beckett, it's what happens between Tommy and Duke. Throughout the film, Duke has been driven by anger. He believes Tommy abandoned him. He believes the only way to prove himself is by being even more ruthless than his father. But during the final confrontation, Duke finally sees the truth. Beckett never respected him. He was just another pawn. Tommy forces Duke to face the consequences of the path he chose, the violence, the manipulation, the destruction. Everything Duke became came from trying to imitate the worst parts of Tommy. And for the first time, Duke understands the burden Tommy has carried for years. The emotional heart of the ending is Tommy's final decision. For most of his life, Tommy protected his family by controlling everything, but control also destroyed many of the people he loved. In The Immortal Man, Tommy tries something different. Instead of forcing Duke to obey him, he lets Duke see the truth for himself. Tommy doesn't just defeat Beckett, he saves Duke from becoming permanently trapped in the same violent cycle. Whether that redemption fully succeeds is left slightly ambiguous, but it's clear Tommy finally does something he rarely did before. He puts his son's future ahead of his own power. The final scenes are quiet and reflective. Tommy walks through small Heath, the neighborhood that shaped his entire life. People react to him in different ways. Some barely recognize him, others treat him like a myth. To many in Birmingham, Tommy Shelby has become something larger than a man. He's a legend. But the film reminds us of something important. Legends are usually built on pain, violence, and sacrifice. Tommy may have protected his city in the end, but he also brought immense suffering to it. That contradiction is what defines his legacy. At its core, the ending of The Immortal Man is about legacy and consequences. The film asks one major question: can someone who built their life on violence ever truly escape it? Tommy tries, but the story suggests something more realistic. You may not erase the past, but you can try to stop it from destroying the future, and that's exactly what Tommy Shelby finally attempts to do.